When the one with the rifle gets killed, the one who is following picks up the rifle and shoots!
Welcome to the 5th episode of the Pick Up the Rifle and Shoot series, featuring my Zastava Arms M85PV. The M85PV is an AK variant pistol with a 10.5-inch chrome-lined barrel chambered in 5.56, which is uncommon for AK platforms, but definitely a plus in the US, since it is the most predominant rifle round. There are downsides though. 5.56 AK magazines are expensive and can be temperamental depending on the manufacturer. Availability can also be an issue, but more and more manufacturers are starting to offer them, and best of all, can be purchased directly from Zastava USA. So here she is, my Zastava Arms M85PV. The M85PV has been discontinued and replaced by the ZPAP85, which is essentially the same with some minor improvements. Nevertheless, the M85PV is still a very capable personal defense weapon, as you'll see in this review. I acquired her from Checkpoint Charlie's last year, which she appeared to have been hardly used. Wear on the bolt and bolt carrier was minimal, and the chrome-lined barrel was in perfect condition. There was no rust or any imperfections that I could find, except for what the previous owner did to the dust cover, drilled and tapped, installing a crooked aftermarket rail. No matter, I restored her to her original condition and then eventually customized her to me. I'll clear the weapon and do a quick function check. Let's go and take a closer look. First is the TF1913 stabilizing brace from SB Tactical, which mounts on a 1913 rail. I used the Stormworks 1913 rail adapter made specifically for the M85 M92s, in which I drilled a hole in the rear trunnion to bolt it on, per the measurements of Stormworks. The adapter and brace are very secure with no issues compared to my original SOB47 brace. Here you can see the robust 1.5mm thick receiver, and also the bulge front trunnion. The rivets are well done with no gaps or issues. On the top dust cover, the rear side is fixed and can be adjusted to 200 or 400 meter setting. You can also see the holes drilled by the previous owner that I filled in. Next is the handguard and gas tube cover. I decided to refinish them for a more personal look, away from the original blonde color. I created my own stain using steel wool and vinegar mixed with used coffee grounds and let the mixture sit for 48 hours. I applied 2 coats of the stain and then used Ballistol to finish the wood. The results are absolutely beautiful. The wood grain really pops out with a dark brown color and a matte finish. Next is the crank style booster from CNC Warrior. It directs the blast forward and provides more pressure to cycle the bolt, especially with a shorter 10.5-inch barrel. Now let's go flip her to the other side. Here's another view of the brace and how it mounts on the rear trunnion. By far the best looking brace for the AK pistol platform. I also tied a piece of paracord for my 1-point sling which perfectly fits on the Stormworks adapter. I replaced the stock safety with a custom enhanced safety by Joe Stetter. After watching Tennessee Matt's review using it on his M92, I contacted Joe and was able to get one without the bolt hold open. His safety has a shelf for easy one-finger manipulation, allowing your firing hand to stay on the grip, making the M85PV very user-friendly. Unfortunately, Joe is no longer selling them after I recently reached out to him, and I don't know any others who have something similar. Overall, I'm very happy how my M85PV has turned out. Her look is spot on, and she's become one of my favorite AKs to shoot, especially with the low recoil of the 223-556. She is very quick to come on the target and is actually quite accurate for what she is, a compact personal defense weapon that fits very nicely in my Wilson tennis bag. Now how cool is that? Now let's go see how she shoots. I zeroed my M85PV the same way as I do with my other AKs and Mosins. Put the rear sight at 2 and adjust the front sight until all the rounds hit center mass, point of aim, point of impact at 25 yards. The rear sight is only adjustable to 200 and 400 meters, so this zero is going to be pretty much a set it and forget it. After adjusting the front sight, I shot 3 rounds to confirm zero. As you can see, all 3 hit the center of the target with no issues at all. Now let's see how she does at 200 yards. With the sights untouched from my 25-yard zero, I proceeded to shoot 5 rounds using a 6 o'clock hold. The target I'm using is the NRA-C 200-yard target, which has a 13-inch black circle. I also put a shoot and see 12-inch circle target so I can see my hits on my spotting scope. I went downrange to confirm what I saw in my spotting scope, a 5.5-inch group. The elevation was spot on, and as for the windage was just a little to the left, but close enough to the center. Now back to the firing line and load up another 5 rounds. In my opinion, 10 rounds gives the shooter the best measure of what their weapon is capable of, and what they're capable of. As you can see, 3 of the rounds hit the same area from the first group, and with that data, I could conclude that my Zastava Arms M85PV can do 3.8 MOA at 200 yards with the ammo I'm using, Academy Monarch 223 steel case 55 grain ammo. Shooting 10 rounds gives me an honest measurement of my capability with the ammo that I'm using. I will measure 8 out of 10 rounds, 80%, the same way as my previous videos, allowing 2 for shooter errors, flyers, and outliers. And of course, the weapon will always shoot better than its shooter, so just keep that in mind. Now let's see how she does at Texas Kalashnikov, Comrade Iron's division. On this day we had heavy rain and everything got soaked. The SOP-47 brace started to rotate and shift once water seeped in, and that's why I have the TF-1913 now. So here's the first clip from Stage 1 Shoot House Flip the Card. Whatever card you flip up is the target you do not shoot.
Alright, if you're finished, unload so clear. I see clear. Do you have a chamber flying here?
I do.
2989.
Next is stage 2, water ball, paper, water ball. You start in the shooting box, shoot the left water bottle, then the ball, move forward, put 2 rounds in 2 brown silhouette targets, then enter the shooting box and engage the remaining ball and water bottle.
Alright, shooter, are you ready?
Yep.
Stand by! Alright, you're finished. Unload, so clear. Alright, I see clear. You see the flag over here?
Yep.
1531!
For the Comrade Irons division, I placed 2nd overall out of 9 competitors. My M85PV impressed the hell out of me, and how well it performed and how quickly I was able to complete these stages with no penalties, even with everything all wet and soaked. So there you have it, my Zastava Arms M85PV, not only capable in shooting for groups, but also in a match with a lot of running and gunning. Zastava Arms truly hit a home run with this platform, and with the newer ZPAP85 released from Zastava USA, I have no doubt they would perform the same way. I do want to note that I did not change any of the internals in my M85PV. Everything inside is stock, and will probably keep it that way. What a truly magnificent weapon to own. Thanks for watching.